Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Follow a Sketch Friday. So I'm actually using a sketch from a book that I have. This is Layout Blueprints and it's an old book. I don't even know when it was produced. 2006, so it's old. What I'm actually going to do is use this one left-hand side of the sketch right here. Just hit my head on the camera. And just use this as my sketch. It's really basic and I'm just going to go for it and see what comes of it. So let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I went ahead and grabbed a sheet of white cardstock and this is going to be my base. I end up completely covering the cardstock, so you could have used any kind of paper if you need to make your papers stretch if you don't have full sheets. Could have been one of those ugly pieces of paper that's just sitting in the bottom of your stash and has been for 16 years. You know the papers I'm talking about. So I have this torn floral paper that I used on another layout, and I decided that this was going to be the big part of the layout over here where it says 8 by 10. I wanted the wood grain to be on the sections on either side of the photo, but like I said, this wood grain was not a complete sheet of paper. Now, could I have dug through my stash and grabbed more wood grain? I definitely could have. But honestly, guys, like, this worked. It was what was close to me. And since I am currently sitting in my scrapbook room with my leg propped up and a heating pad on it, close was best. Really didn't want to have to stand up and go searching for anything. So I decide that the photo needs a little something around it. So I grabbed this 6x6 paper that was in one of my SCT samplers, and I go ahead and place that down as well. Now it's going to be this light pink color that is also in the floral paper. So now I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh man, this was a mistake. And I'm trying to figure out how I can cover up some of this expansive floral paper because it's just too glaringly in your face for me. So I'm thinking a doily might help, and then I realized that I do not have any large doilies anymore. I only have the small ones, and that's a travesty because I really think a large doily would have been great on this layout. So then I'm like, okay, I need to cover up some of this paper. I need to have some sort of border over here. And I'm like, okay, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? Now, if I would have used a full wood grain sheet of paper, I did have this thought. I could have just torn the other edge and had a wood grain on either side. But, you know, like I said, I was using what was close. Didn't want to go digging. So again, because I was using what was close, I have this green and silvery star paper. And the green is a great match. The silver stars, can I make it work? You darn right I can. So we can justify this completely, right? Like I'm going to add silver as a shining, shimmering accent color. And in the flower and garden photo itself, there is a lot of gray, and that's basically a dull silver, right? So see, there we go. We justified everything, didn't we? So I decided to go ahead and add a second small doily. And this one is a silver doily. It came like that. I did not ink it or emboss it or anything. And then I figured since I had so much silver going on the layout, I might as well add a little bit more. So I added this silver washi, and I thought that I wanted it to have that torn edge and it hanging over the floral paper, but I didn't like it. So I just went ahead and tucked that edge underneath. Now I do have this little bit of a gap where the star paper doesn't expand as far as the flower paper does. So I'm trying to figure out a way to cover that up. I've already tried trimming down the papers, and it's just such a tiny little sliver that I decide I'm just going to cover it up. I'm not going to trim it down anymore. So I add another piece of that solid silver washi, and then I'm going to use these two little kind of like label-y tag things and overlap them a little bit so that I have pink in this upper left-hand corner as well. Now I'm actually going to use these stars that I had pulled out for the live this week, and they were just kind of chilling out on the desk. So I am going to use some poppy up circles, foam circles, poppy up circles. What in the world? Some foam circles and pop the stars up so that it gives a little bit of dimension to the page. Now, since this is going in my solo trip where I went to Walt Disney World, it will have flowers somewhere on every page, so the flowers will come on. I mean, there's flowers in the photo, there's these little flowers in the floral paper, but I'm going to add more just because I think it needs more. So I grabbed these little sparkly enamel dots, and I'm going to add those around the stars. Since my stars are gray and not silver, I add the Shining Shimmering Splendid around the stars instead of actually on the stars. I did think about grabbing a shimmer brush and shimmering the stars as well, but I don't take the time to do that. It's laziness. I mean, it's in reach. It's right there on my desk in reach, but I just don't do it. So now I am looking at the layout and it feels like it needs something. So I dig into my die cuts and I find some floral die cuts. And these florals, a lot of them have pre-printed butterflies on them. It's like, are you kidding me right now? Do I need a butterfly every time I have a flower? No, I don't. So I'm going to camouflage the butterflies and cover them up, basically. So I've got these flowers that I tuck in up at the top next to the doily, and I have these flowers down here at the bottom. So the second set of flowers that I'm going to put at the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up on some fun foam, and that is just going to give me a little bit of extra dimension right here. So I like the way that this looks. I like the florals on the kind of this diagonal line. I like the fact that I have a diagonal line crisscrossing another diagonal line. So basically I have an X of embellishment, and I like that. I'm just going to add some words up here to the labels. It's going to say Flower and Garden April 2021 because obviously that's when I went. And I was looking to see if I could pull in some more yellow since I have this flower with yellow right here. And it really does pop since the photo has those little bits of yellow. So I grab the Vicki Boutin sticker sheet, and here there's some little birds on there. So I go ahead and tuck them into the flowers. And then I was thinking about adding another little bit up with those labels, but I didn't like it. So I grabbed the yellow You Make the World More Colorful and place it over top of the photo. So I like that. I don't like the yellow flower up by the labels. It just looks funky. But I feel like I need to bring the yellow up near the labels as well. Otherwise, it's contained and the labels feel like they're kind of like over off to the side as a second thought. And I don't want that feeling. I want the page to feel cohesive. I mean, you might be looking at this and being like, Sandy, you got stars and flowers. That's not cohesive whatsoever. But for me, it works. I don't mind stars and flowers. I think they're very generic themed items. Plus, it's a Disney page. I mean, come on. So after I get those yellow enamel dots down, that is going to wrap up this layout, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. The sketch, of course, will be in the Facebook group Scrapping Reflections if you would like to play along. And then, guys, I will see you again real soon for another video.